Worth. An attorney in Washington D.C. battles against cynicism, bureaucracy and politics to help the victims of 9/11. The film stars Michael Keaton, Amy Ryan and Stanley Tucci. And it's a Netflix movie. If you've been on this channel before, you know I've been saying for a long time, Netflix generally don't make good movies. They just don't. They make okay movies and terrible movies. That's what they've done all year long. So can Worth buck the trend? Before we jump into the video, I'd really appreciate if you do me one little favor. That's jump below this video, hit that subscribe button, maybe even a notification bell as well for new content every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. And with all that being said, let's jump into the review. So this movie is centered around the aftermath of 9/11 and more specifically the families of the victims of that tragic event. It's based around the guy who was trying to put together a formula to come up with the compensation for the families of the victims. It just straight away, the story, if you only look at it as a story for a movie, you say that's a weak story in the first place. It's not a whole lot to build an entire movie off. But my other issue with this movie, it's similar to what I said about that new movie about Ted Bundy not too long ago, in a certain aspect. 9/11 was one of the most tragic events that's ever happened in my lifetime. An event that even though I was a kid when it happened, it sent shockwaves around the world and I will never forget the tragic events of that day. But it gets to the point with a movie like this where you have to wonder, is this movie disrespectful to those families? Now, I know it's about their struggle afterwards, but now we're getting to the point where we're really stretching out that event in terms of movie making. We're now going to the bare bones of what can we still make a movie about this event that will make money. Basically, that's what this movie is. It's trying to make money off the back of a tragic event, which is kind of just despicable. I know they're trying to highlight an interesting event afterwards of how they came up with the remuneration for the victims, but is that a story that needs to be told? Is there a big audience going, oh, I wonder how they calculated the money for the victims of that event? It's such a weird thing to go into on a movie. If you look at it just as a movie, just from a story perspective, the story is very, very weak and stretched over 2 hours. The basic of the story is this lawyer is assigned by the president to come up with a way to figure out the value or the worth of someone's life. And the families of the victims of 9/11 are not happy when they come up with a formula which just makes everybody a number. But Michael Keaton then, when he sees some people face to face, his heart grows, I guess, and then he starts treating people like people and then everybody's happy. It's a weak story which is propped up heavily by great performances from all the actors involved. Michael Keaton, Amy Ryan, Stanley Tucci in particular, they're all very good in their particular roles with what they're given. So as I've said, story was weak. It wasn't terribly told, but it wasn't a whole lot to tell. The performances are good. The filmmaking in general was, there was a lot of abrupt cuts. There was a really droning music throughout the background of almost every scene. The opera scene was weird. Overall, I didn't particularly think the filmmaking itself was particularly good either. But I'd be very, very interested to know your opinions on Worth. Am I crazy for thinking this is disrespectful to the victims of the event? That's just Netflix trying to cash grab? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. So when it comes down to a rating, I wasn't a big fan of this one. It's not the worst movie I've seen. It's definitely not the worst movie Netflix have made. But for me, it's a 3 out of 10 movie. With all that being said and done, thank you so much for watching.